happy birthdays as well. You always find the latest courtyard permanent solution. Out of the box.
Hello and welcome to Radio Waves by Todderbert. Today I'll be reviewing the Juliette model number APR-205A. It's manufactured by the Top Radio Company. And I purchased this radio for $14.50 off of eBay. Came in the original box. I was pretty excited to get this because it was pretty unique looking. I figured, what the heck? So this was like my second or third vintage radio that I thought would be fun to collect. And let's get into it. So this is a little bit of a story behind it. I got the radio and it pretty much only worked on 2 or 3 stations. So yeah, I was pretty upset, but I thought that's just the way they were. So let's go into it. This was pretty neat. The original battery. So this, whoever had these must have been collecting the box, you know, complete examples. This is neat, but it's starting to rust. A little bit of corrosion. Battery's completely dead, but still a pretty neat thing to find. Original battery, I like that. That's pretty nifty. Also, the earphone looks like it's never been used. It's got the original green wrap on it. So that's also a pretty nifty find to see. We have the radio, which I'll set aside for the moment. Looks like I didn't pull this out yet. Looks like we got like a warranty card. And it looks like just like a back stand for the radio. So we'll move that box out of the way. See, top electronics, service department. So this looks like you send this in if you have a problem with your radio. Easy and accurate direct tuning. Full warranty, whatever that is. An earphone for private listening. Solid state instant sound. Excellent in sound. Cool. Yeah, I didn't know this brand at all. It's one of those things where it was just kind of like, oh, that looks interesting. That's why I got it. It's a cute little radio. So we're going to look at it and see what it can do. All right, here it is. It had a little bag. It's pretty decent shape. Looks like it wasn't used much. There it is. On all of its wood grain glory. Look at that wood grain. That's character right there. Okay, let's give you dimensions. 2 3/4 inches long by 3 inches high by a depth of 1 1/4 inches. We got a wrist strap. Front of the radio, as you saw, the wood grain conceals the speaker. There's little slots in there. Solid state 6 transistor radio. Name of the radio. It's like kind of a metal bezel. You can see it picks up little dents, scratches, but it's not too bad. The case is in decent shape. On the side, on the right side, we have the volume on off, and then we have the tuning indicator. It's pretty basic. For the sake of this video, when I'm tuning it, I'm probably just going to be doing this mainly, so you may not be able to see where I'm at. It gets pretty difficult to tune, so we'll see what we can find with it. But here goes the story. So when here's the back too, top with the vented case, Hong Kong. And so here's the story. The radio didn't work really well. It was like getting 2 or 3 stations, and everything else was like dead quiet. So I thought, oh, okay, it must just be how these radios were. They were inexpensive, and they just got a couple of stations, and that was it. So I was going to put it away, and I didn't even want to review it because, you know, 2 or 3 stations, that's kind of boring. But I started researching and learned that sometimes quiet radios are due to capacitor failures. So I started testing the capacitors and found out that I had some bad ones. Let's go ahead and open this up. You use a nickel or a coin, and you kind of put it in this little slot here and kind of pivot it. And then the whole back comes up, and you get hinges here. You gotta be careful. Like the Sony I told you about, it has the antenna right up on top. So that's the internals right there. We'll do a close-up. We got a Sanyo speaker, it looks like. There's our tuner, our volume. And if you look, we have some capacitors. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I started testing them, trying to figure out which one was bad, and it was getting difficult. So I said, you know what? I'll go ahead and change them all. So here are the old ones. And Like this is a 50 microfarad, and you got a 30. I think there's a 10 in here. Here's our 30, and then I think this was a 10. So these were fairly challenging to remove because they had weird pathways. It's like they crisscrossed, and one had a shield on the lead, so I had to put that shield back on, and it just was a mess. And the back of this board, instead of having normal traces like on a circuit board, it's all like blob solder, so it's like it looks like a big mess. So this was made very cheaply. So just want to give you a heads up. But yeah, I got some brand new Panasonic capacitors there. There's a gentleman on eBay selling these at a reasonable price. I went ahead and picked up a batch of them for like $10, and glad I did because they've come in really handy. It made this radio come alive, so glad to do that. Here's a little card that was inside here, talking about the battery, what to use. So we'll go ahead and put a battery in it, and we'll tune it and see what we can hear with the new capacitors. Still, some of the stations come in very loud, so if I blow your eardrums out, I'm sorry in advance. So you just kind of wrap this wire up in there, and when you put the back on, you try to line up that top piece there. So it kind of notches in there. And yeah, this is pretty difficult to do on camera, so there we go. And this is going to click in pretty loud, so yeah, it sounds like it's breaking, but it's not. When I first did that, I'm like, whoa. So yeah, there's the wrist strap. Yay for vinyl. Yeah, I'm thinking early 70s, unless you guys know if it's a different date, let me know. I couldn't find an exact date on this radio, so let's go. I think I'm at the bottom of the band. We'll turn it on and see what we can hear. Before, I couldn't even hear that. There was like no static. It was just dead silent. So I have to play with the volume a lot as I tune, so bear with me. And I gotta go real slow here because it's really hard to tune.
Right? Exactly. I've spent maybe between $20,000 and $25,000 between lawyer fees and government fees, and it's an ongoing.
This station I wasn't able to get before when I had these in there. So changing these made a huge difference.
It seems like it's so easy for me to bring my sister, my cousin, my uncle, and it's just not like that.
I keep looking to see where I'm at. It's not super accurate, but it gives me a general idea. This thing has been picking up distant stations about 300, 400 miles. Really shocked me after that repair.
Get ready because it's going to wow you. It's been totally redesigned with
This is my local station.
And beautiful style details. It also has cutting-edge technology like an available wireless phone charger and an available head-up display that puts information right in front of you.
Very directional sensitive.
Not the only one. So if you see anything, weather-wise, traffic-wise, things like that nature, give us. Or you can hit us up locally, 513-749-7000. If you've never called in before, make sure because we want to hear from you tonight. Speaking of which, nice segue, right? Okay. How about Kathy?
Yeah, Kathy, we got a first-time caller in.
Don't worry, Doug, you're coming up.
Yeah, and it's a lady, so we'll go ahead. She's online first.
I'm not sure what station this is.
Hi, Kathy. Thanks for calling in tonight.
Hi, Dave. I just love this program. I started listening to it back in January.
Point was being very, sort of open on the day.
So that's probably like 760 or 770, 760, because in the 780s right here.
And went right to the stage, and that kind of
This
broke
is my
things open
local.
for her. So there are performers who have those kinds of
Booms.
life-changing moments.
Music station. Not even sure what station this is. It's new to me. It's a piece of history here.
And the second colony in the Western Hemisphere to gain independence from Imperial Europe. But what's happened since then? Why has Haiti descended into a nation such as this? Come over for yourself. And in computing your answer on that question, you'll have to, unfortunately, it's very embarrassing for you, but it's a fact, and facts somehow have an embarrassing way of sticking out. There's an adjacent nation on the same island mass called Dominican Republic that somehow did not descend to the same level as Haiti. Can you figure that one out? Well, it has a little bit to do with religion. I haven't even mentioned that yet. I guess I should add something to this subject. Haiti is predominantly a nation that practices...
I was thinking this was Louisville, coast to coast or something like
The
that.
Dominican Republic is predominantly a nation that practices something that's anathema to CNN, and that is called Christianity. Now, I don't know...
Nope, ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. What are you trying to say? When you've got junk that needs to disappear, all you have to do is point. Don't worry about how or if we can get there. We can.
We can get there.
Because we're journalists and we are able to do this. You, on the other hand, you put them on your website, you're breaking the law, which is nonsense. It's not true.
Gotta really tune it up for the distant stations.
Ouais, ben nous, en fait, nous, au cours des 5 dernières années, au Divan Rouge, on a observé une légère hausse de fréquentation pour notre lieu. Donc, c'est pas ça, c'est plus qu'il y a une espèce de précarité financière qui est inhérente peut-être à travailler avec les artistes de la scène émergente. Il faut que ça vienne.
Okay, a French station looks like it 9 something, maybe.
Puis nous, c'est ça qu'on veut faire en ce moment, dans le sens où le Divan Orange, mais on a annoncé une fermeture, mais on s'était dit que si jamais on réussissait pas à redresser cette entreprise-là, on allait faire l'effort.
That might be needed. A Canadian station probably there.
Prime Steak and Stone Crab Restaurant. Whether you're planning a special occasion, an elegant night on...
A man named Michael Berger. Miles has spent time out of the agency and back in with Alan Hamilton that exists today. Booth Alan Hamilton was the contract.
The directional is so interesting.
To study management. We're looking at...
Getting towards the top there, it looks like.
The Boko Haram, ISIS, Al Qaeda. We're here on the continent. Before that, but since when the first Africans were brought to British North America, our story has always been told from a stacks and stacks of impunity with on her side.
Welcome back. I'm Roger Manning. You know, if you'd like to be on this program, we have openings coming up very shortly next week, as a matter of fact. If you'd like to be on the program, it's so very simple. Just and the numbers 1 is...
It's Nashville station, I believe. Most of these country stations come out of Nashville. Very cool. This radio's just come alive. Amazing. There's so many stations jammed up in this little bit of band.
Than just a rate. Does calling the company with 11 JD Power Awards for client service matter?
Where I wish that I had a whole expansion of listeners who could go out and would just say, look at this. And presented by Progressive Insurance on ESPN Radio, Sirius XM Channel 80.
Okay, well, we spent a nice good 15 minutes working on that. Wow, that's a great little radio. Little piece of history there. I am glad that I have this radio. It makes me so happy to know that I was able to fix it at a relatively low cost. I mean, I think these represent about $2 worth of parts, $2 or $3. So that was, a little bit of time, probably not too much time. I'd say about a half hour to take those out and put them in. So yeah, it was worth every penny to bring this radio back to life. I mean, it's just a piece of history. I could turn it on now and enjoy it and hunt those distance stations and this little cube size, portable. I think I did show you with the Iron Man cards. I mean, look at that little guy. It's just so cute. And then it has the original box and the original battery. I mean, it's just a fun collectible to have. I mean, glad to have it in my collection. So thanks for watching. Let me know your stories about your AM radios you may have had when you were younger. Let us know what your favorites were. Maybe I can track one down for review. Or if you have an inside line for one, let me know. Contact me through the messaging and give me an idea where I can get one. So thanks a lot for watching. If you have time, check out the Patreon link I have down below. We have a community building up slowly but surely, and a lot of people are pledging and helping out the channel. So I'm glad to see that. If you want to be part of that, it's definitely fun. Alrighty, take care, guys.